Here is a quick review of the subsectors of the market. Let's go.
Hey everyone, this is my channel to help investors and traders develop a probability-based mindset to succeed. Also try and keep friends informed of what's going on in the markets and the economy, and also a little real estate content as well. This is Dan Max at XP Realty, aka the Trading Agent. I'm gonna do a new little feature for the weekend. It's called the Subsectors Review, where we get deeper into the subsector ETFs and individual names, and we just rip through them real quick to see how the market is looking. Figured I'd do it every weekend. You probably should too. And let's get into it. Again, Discord room is open. If you're interested, hit me up on the Twitters. Hit me with the message, not a massage. And yeah, I'll try to drop you a link. Link to this Discord room will be in the description below. If you're still new, dropping bombs on here, another educational video. Just keep it going. Just keeping it going. Here comes the destructive cat. And yeah, let's get into it. First sector, broker dealers, XBD. Gonna run through this, like I said, quick. Back near range highs. Keep an eye on it. Again, this is meant to just be review quickly, not really too in depth. We want to just see how overall the market is looking, and you can kind of rip through names pretty quickly. Oh, cat, you're here. BlackRock. Big institutional investor. Big. Chopping below lower highs. The Deutsche Bank. Like I said, I'm going to just rip through these quick. New highs off the lows. I mean, remember we talked about things that weren't bearish when the market was playing this game down here. I don't know why that's not updated, but yeah. How about them apples, right? Like Matt Damon. Trappy, very interesting, making new highs. Let's just keep it going. EVR, Evergreen, making new highs off the lows. You can see it's coming into some interesting areas. Could get up into the 130s. Looking at some of these bigger names. These no, not. I guess they're not necessarily bigger, but names that you guys probably aren't familiar with that I'm always watching in the background. Yeah, I'll update as we go, just in case I have any questions about certain spots. Okay, there's a 618. Yeah, looks okay. The Vert Financial, man, this thing used to be super movie volatility all over the place, moving. That doesn't really look good. That gap down. We'll see. Yeah, obviously Morgan Stanley holding up. Again, these charts look a little different because it's on a totally different workspace that I don't update as frequently, but don't need to. Talked about that gap up holding. Goldman, MasterCard. Let's check out some of the credit card companies. Remember, these candles are probably the mess up from the New York Stock Exchange. What a big, wide, sloppy, choppy range for like years. Hey, I'm just going to remove it and clean it up. I don't trust these things at all. I just don't trust that. Don't trust that at all. It's the way it's acting. Chopping. I mean, you've got a range high. Let's check out Visa. Good old Visa. Where are you at? Oh, I was on I was on MasterCard. Sorry. This is Visa. Coming back up towards the range highs. Credit cards, debt on the rise, clearly. I would say at this point, I mean, you obviously call that bullish when it gets over that, right? Just cleaning up charts for the fun of it. Yeah, 0.76. It's probably going to struggle up here. Keep an eye on it. Talked about Charles Schwab on Friday. Accounts down again. Not looking good. Keep in mind, this one has like an interesting setup, clearly. I mean, are we breaking the channel? Are we breaking the channel? I mean, it feels like it. I mean, Schwab is a very good retail indicator of accounts and trading and what's going on, and it's looking pretty oogly. XLF. Stuck near the range highs. Small regional banks, banking industry. That's not really that good looking. Over the moving averages, but this happened multiple times and failed. Citigroup, back at the 382, doesn't really look that great. Or doesn't look really anything other than, like this one looks better, like JP Morgan. We talked about ripping. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, that's an interesting candle, obviously, because of the glitch in the New York Stock Exchange. KRE, junior banks, they don't really look like they have much oomph. Like they just can't get off the floor. Let the bodies hit the floor. You would think these things would be picking up. I don't think they have much staying power because regionally you're dealing with just basic consumers like you, me, everyone else watching this versus a lot of the big institutional banks have a lot of different global risk. Let's look at some of these insurers. Ooh, I didn't realize Lincoln National, not so hot. MetLife. Obviously, that was that glitch day. Doesn't look terrible. MTB, M&T Bank. Tough to tell, right? A little over earnings. Let's check out Wells. Hear the scratch in the background. Cat's going nuts. Yeah, these things just, they look like they're stuck dead in a range. Let's look at industrials. XLI. Holding can't get above that 102. Caterpillar's been on fire. Dangerous going into earnings. DE Deere said I thought they were going to have issues for a while. Interesting how it gapped up, and it's just, people say, oh, it's flagging. I see that. I mean, I see your flag, and I raise your flag. I don't know. I don't think they've had. I mean, that was their last earnings. This one's tough. I'm moving on. Cummins engines. Chopping. Tough to tell. MMM. Triple M. 3M. Gee, I mean, they've been ridiculed with lawsuits and problems for a while. This thing just looks fugly. Leave it alone. BA. Obviously, Boeing's been important. Remember some of these industrials materials names. All 20-day riding the lightning. I mean, if I wouldn't be bearish on it till it broke the 20-day LMT. I mean, war is coming, I guess. I don't know. They're picking up. Parker Hannifin. Wow. This one's back near the highs. Remember industrials. I mean, we told you guys. Told you industrials. Oh, but I want to buy tech. No, don't do it. Again, speaking of tech, here's the SMH, right? Back at the trend line. AMAT. Applied Materials. Back near the highs of its recent high. AMD. I mean, it's going to blast. I wonder if the space bar will help me out. Flatlining. Yeah, here we go. It can go super fast. ASML. I mean, if you go, you can see the monthly. There's a ton of resistance near 7 hundo. Let me just zoom it out. Maybe you can see it. Man, I got too many lines on this thing. Clean this crap up. You can see it's gonna have a lot of issues here in the low 700 stuff or 6s. Dirty charts. Dirty. Broadcom, Avago. Resistance. Apple, the fruit. Dell New lagging. Amazon. 100-day. I mean, these things. Adobe trying to pop. CRM. We're talking about how someone's been making moves in that. Goog. I mean, all these names we talk about pretty regularly. Micron. Trying to get back up. LRCX. I mean, this thing got absolutely curb stomped. Yeah, back at resistance. Nvidia, we've said curb stomped. Now it's trying to break out. I mean, it's going to struggle against 212. The Netflix, short this one. I think this thing is toast. I mean, you're getting back into spots where people who are stuck probably are going to find their way out. If you go look, man, sorry against all the dirty charts, but here you go. Look at this thing, man. You don't think 360s are going to be hard for it to cruise over? I mean, based on what's going on, I mean, I don't think they're strong. Roku. Remember, I wanted to short this one so badly. If Swing Jam's in here, we talked about this like short and then boom and then I pooped my pants. No, that was Roku shite in the bed. I don't know. It's dead. It's dead. Twilio, same thing. Oh gosh, look at these names. You look at them, you just go, oof. Qualcomm. I know Scotty got a little short in them. I mean, I can see the range here. If you zoom out, you can probably see it better on the weekly and the monthly. There's a lot of resistance here in the mid 130s. 6G. Trade Desk. Oh god, yeah, another bomber. Workday. I struggle with this one. I think I think this one might be a better name long term. Keep an eye on that one. Snap. Chat. Snap. Come on. Oh, all of a sudden we got to freeze. Come on. There you go. Unfreeze. Snap. Look, even the trash is floating. They got earnings on Tuesday. I'm not surprised. I mean, is this company going out of business yet? Are they just going to... Whatever. SQ, Square. I mean, remember people talking about, like, on to buy this? I mean, it's stuck. It's dead. Dead. Dead money. That's what dead money looks like. Shopify. Dead money. Oh, but it's time to buy it. Okay. I mean, it's just probably dies at 52. PayPal. They were like, oh, I got to buy this for the long run. It's like, why? Dead. Dead, dead, dead. Stuff you don't want to buy for the long run. PayPal. I mean, there's competition coming endlessly. Don't do it. Zoom. Remember all those smart people? Remember we talked about, like, fads come and go? Oh, but everyone's going to be on Zoom because of COVID. Competition's coming. Oh, but I gotta buy it. No, remember, stocks have shelf life. Staples, consumer staples, holding high and tight. Can't really say much. Good. Philip Morris International cigarettes. Okay, chopping. Altria Group. Well, that's not real. Chopping. Yeah, don't really have much. Procter and Gamble. Are they not raising prices, or are people starting to realize they can find cheap alternatives? General Mills chopping. Interesting. Let's get some of the overseas ones real quick. FXI talked about, like, how this thing, when the market was bottoming, was like, oh, this stuff looks like it's ripping. I mean, could the FXI get back up into the 34s? Yeah, I mean, you're not that far off. Emerging markets, we talked about, watch them. Here we go, coming into the next resistance area. EWG Germany getting back near all-time, not all-time, recent highs. May. It's pretty strong there. I doubt we're gonna get over that. Meh, probably not. Steel names. Let's kind of blast through these. Steel back up near the highs. Interesting. As you might think, Nucor acting better. Popped up. Starting to look a little tired. You'll see. Litterex, where you been? Got earnings coming up. Steel D had their earnings, if I remember right. Yeah, gapped up. That feels pretty damn distributive. I know you see this volume. I think this got added to some ETF. Not ETF, S&P 500 or something crucial. I don't know. I would be curious about this because I think, watch, you take out that candle. Pretty decent volume. We'll see. I mean, again, we like these things long term. Wait for them to pull back. Reliance Steel. Wow, new highs. Interesting. Again, materials. I guess war is coming. Either way, I mean, it's if you look at the way the charts are playing out, inflation much? Yeah, it's not going away. I mean, it just seems so obvious. Copper, wow, okay. That's been on. You can't argue with this stuff. ATI, I think they got earnings this week. Wow. Allegheny Tech, man, I remember this thing in the 2000s. Look at this. Heyo, silver away. I mean, the thing went from $2 up to a freaking $1.20. Materials, catch the Momo. Yeah, it's looking all right. Remember, if I remember right, what is it? ATI. It's just called ATI now. It used to be called Allegheny Tech. These guys do a lot of. I guess they're probably gonna be doing well with defense spending, materials needs. They got all the all sorts of metals that are used in war, aluminums, steels, and stuff made for shielding armor. I mean, I can't remember building planes, building tanks. They're in that. Freeport holding up. Again, inflation ain't going away. Southern Copper, wow. Rippers. It's just interested looking at the REITs. 200-day, interesting. Let's look at Big O. Oh, Realty, okay, making new highs. I mean, here's a big one. Simon Property Group's the big dog in this space. Okay. That's like an old trend line. Man, that's a super old one. That's like the monthly. You can see it. We're right at it. 200 month. I doubt we're getting over that. That would just be pretty nuts. Boggles the mind. Keep an eye on it. Let's look at some of the housing names. Again, just kind of cruising through this stuff. All right, back at resistance. Okay, not surprising on a bounce. And you can pop through these real quick. DHI, which is DH Horton. Okay, I don't really have much drawn on here, but it looks like it's been on fire. As they, KB Homes. Yeah, I mean, all these companies started cutting their supplies and trying to, like, get ready for the recession. I mean, they're hopefully positioned well. I mean, I've said inflation, housing, inflation, good hedge. Yeah, all these look pretty solid off the lows. The good old Weyerhaeuser, 200-day. Tough to be sure about it. Eagle Materials, got like a lot of these names, inputs into housing. Chopping there at the highs. Trex, you guys are familiar with Trex. Wow, I can't believe this thing. Whoa, dropped off. I haven't looked at this one in a while. Back at the 200-day. I mean, but there's probably a ton of composite deck replacement materials coming out there, or the stuff called lumber, wood. You ever heard of it? Speaking of lumber, UFPI, Universal Forest Products. Wow, right back up at the highs. Right back at the highs. Again, you want to buy tech. I get it. I don't. I just have no desire for tech. It's just hilarious to me how you can literally change. Things can change in front of people's eyes, and they're just like, oh, tech. Utilities. Just interesting. Okay, chopping. And they don't look that strong. Dominion. Yeah, not good at all. Duke. Let's go Duke. Chopping. A lot of people hate Duke. I mean, as an NC State fan, I was born and raised a Duke fan. Born at Duke Hospital in Durham. Don't get that twisted. I am not a fake Duke fan. Grew up watching a lot of... I saw the actual program flip from... they were good in the 60s and 70s, mediocre, whatever. But they went from, 1980s, went from... Brought in Coach K and were just, because you can remember, Carolina and NC State both won championships in the mid-'80s. 85, I think Carolina, NC State in 83. And Duke was just whipping boy for many years. And then Coach K came in and you saw them just flip. IBB, let's look at some of these big bios. Okay, I mean, this is trying to break out. I see it. We got XBI. We all know XBI. I don't need to flip through it. Let's go to ABV. AbbVie. Ooh, that doesn't really look that good. Amgen. Does not look good either. Biogen. Chopping. Blue. Remember this thing? Gosh. It's trying to come off the lows. I don't know if they got in the pipeline. Gilead. I can't believe this thing. Okay, I was going to say, when did this thing rip? I thought the thing was stuck in the 60s. Okay, yeah, November. Maybe they had some drugs. Again, I don't pay attention to this stuff. Moderna, it's dead money. Eli Lilly, we talked about liking this one. I remember trying to convince people. What was this? Yeah, this breakout right here. I was like, I think this is going to be a big one. Not a bad play. 176 into a double. Not clean and quick, but a double, as we most recognize. Aluminum. What did I say? Aluminum? Yeah, it's aluminum. No. Man, that's chopping. This thing used to be a boss when it was up in the 500s. This is what's so hard about tech, biotech, ISRG. I mean, I imagine this one's gotten stomped. I mean, they used to be for many years. I mean, this thing went from on fire. I mean, again, they make sweet robotics to help surgery. United Healthcare. Let's run through it real quick. And J&J. Okay, yeah, that topped. I think someone talked about that one. Congrats, J&J. All right, doesn't look good. Let's get into the retail stocks, like retail shopping. I was trying to get over the low. I mean, it feels like that kind of looks like a little trap potentially setting up here. I'd be on the lookout for that because, again, I still feel like the retail person in general is just getting squeezed so hard. Costco. Popping up to the 200-day. Okay. And this thing's been chopping. Chipotle. Yeah, chopping.
Domino's Pizza, chopping. Home Depot, chopping. I mean, these all look very similar. Lowe's, chopping. Sherwin-Williams, we talked about them guiding down. They gap down. I mean, again, things could be in just no man's land. Good old Nike. Man, it's back to some old trend lines on the monthly. Check this out. Let's see what happens up here. I don't trust Nike. Do you? No. Target. Man, every time I go into Target, I'm like, this is a mess in here. They remind me of Sears. Maybe they're going out of business at some point. Just a real estate play at this point. Lulu. Nothing. Dead. I mean, these trends are over. Restoration Hardware. I know Buffett bought a bunch of this in the 220s, I think, during COVID. No, sorry, 100. I mean, does he even still own it? Probably not. These names just all look dead. Hard to predict. Starbucks. Rallying back, coming back into some old resistance. Let's clean these charts up. I apologize. TJ Maxx, that's always been a discounter. I bet they're doing well. Yep. Not surprised. Look at that. New highs. Again, TJ Maxx is not a good, I wouldn't call them a good representation of the consumer, because if they're doing really well, that means everyone's discount shopping, right? Like that's like their goal. Wow, Ulta. Good God. I know people are talking about shorting this. It's like, I mean, my wife likes Ulta, but I don't know. I mean, what price point is this? Just doesn't make sense. It's probably getting there. I haven't looked at some of the pricing of this. Walmart, kind of stuck. I mean, they're just not well run anymore. VF Corp, oh God, it's brutal. Whirlpool, they got earnings coming up. I figured chopping. Good old W, Wayfair. I remember when people were like all on top of this thing. Come on, give me the Wayfair. There you go. Okay, off the lows. Okay, we'll see. I mean, I think the thing, I'll go through transports next and a few others. I think the thing that people need to realize about stocks that look like this, pull up your favorite penny stock. This is what they start to look like. They pump, then they dump. Then they pump, then they dump. I just worry people just don't really get that. Transports, chopping, not making new highs. You got to be careful. CSX, rails, that's not good. It's going off the rails. XPO, holding up near the highs, not too bad. UNP, again, the rails don't really look that good. United Rentals, now is that a professional gap and go, or is that a novice gap that's going to play out? I'd be careful. Chop and FedEx. I mean, again, these industrials, you got to be a little concerned. UPS, not there. Here are the airlines, they up and down from the holidays. Chopping back at old Fib. Good old Southwest. I mean, again, it made sense. Hit the 200-day, but I think that's a misquote on the New York Stock Exchange. Boom. Yeah, Delta probably benefited from that. Hey, let's get in the weed stocks. I always laugh at this because I'm telling you, there's people who sit here and don't get this, and maybe this is the best example of what tech looks like, is these weed stocks where it's just you get a little bounce and it gets sold, and they get a bounce and they get sold, and that's what I think is going to happen. Wow, CGC, I remember this one. Goodbye. Cara, this one's probably been sideways for a while. Yep. Let's look at some of these casinos and gambling names. All right, that looks, MGM looks okay. Wynn's probably similar. Yeah, I mean, these are all back at, what's interesting, if you go look at monthly resistance points, here you go. It's at, they're all at some important areas. Penn, still Dave Portnoy, here you go, coming into the 34s. I mean, again, if you've been following for a long time, I said this. As soon as the stimulus was over, I was like, these stocks are dead. Look at that big Head and Shoulders, dead. Again, they're all penny stocks. I mean, people. I mean, they act like them. Oh, they pop a couple, 10, 15%. Oh, I got to go all in. No. All right, Las Vegas Sands. That's interesting. Huh, okay. What else do I want to look at? Anything else? I mean, I can just bounce around. I mean, hopefully this helps. It's just looking at names. As you can tell, certain sectors look better than others. It's just hard to look at the market and really trust what's going on. Because, I mean, I've had this discussion with multitude of people, and let me flip back to my regular watch list and names, and it's just hard to look at the market right now and say, okay, it's gonna roll over, it's gonna move immediately down or up. I mean, it feels like the short is playing out, right? It's going to play out because this is the thing. The leadership has to change. Like, you need to see more money funnel out of crap tech, all the legacy names. And then you can really probably see, I mean, again, I don't think you're going to see new lows in material names. But you need the money to continue to flow out of junk tech. You need to see the names rotate in, if that makes sense. You need stuff to, like, rotate into new leadership, and that new leadership is evolving. Again, if inflation is entrenched, it's really hard to know what's going to happen without studying the 70s pretty intently, and we have, and they're choppy. I think you're going to know pretty quickly. So if you have shorts, be wary. If you have longs, be wary. I mean, you're at inflection points. We've talked about this. We'll end it real quick, like weekly, monthly. Come on, weekly. Give it to me. All right, here we go. Weekly. You're at old trend lines, old resistance, choppy, sloppy. Now, here's the thing. We talked about the head and shoulders. Yeah, and everyone's like, oh, you're at the trend line, right? You've broken the downtrend, right? Like, everyone's like, yes, it's over. Okay. I mean, I've said this many a times, and hopefully the folks that pay attention, like, I mean, you can go below your trends, and that's why trend lines aren't the most, like, they're nice, they're helpful, right? But you can go below them and still, does that connect up there? Kind of. I mean, you can go below them and still go. You know what I mean? You can still go lower, pop right back. That's the hardest thing. So, all right, I'll wrap this up. Hopefully this is helpful. I mean, it's not, hopefully 20, 30 minutes of your time looking through some of these names. Be thoughtful. Be careful. I mean, again, we're at inflection points. Certain things are definitely acting better than others. You can tell money's rotating. Just be careful. Tech, retail, certain names that are just, again, if they're trash, they're trash. Just leave them alone. And again, if you have to trade them, just watch them, but know that they're probably the last things to rise. Talk to you later.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, stop by the Discord room. A link is in the description below. Also, if you'd like to help support more free content, your PayPal link is in the description as well. I appreciate your continued support of the channel.